Sound check, testing 1 2. Can you hear me? Is this thing turned on? All right. Hey, I hope you're with me. I hope the sound is coming through. And Tony, I hope there's not a delay with my speech, okay? I think it was that other microphone and the battery going dead that caused that. This is a hardwired mic, so hopefully it'll work better. This is another episode of Fans Only Content. If you have not been following this series, it probably won't mean much to you. However, if you want to stick around for the memes and fun stuff, those will start in just a couple of minutes. You'll see them when the pictures start showing up over there in the corner. Some of it's funny, some of it's serious, but we're gonna roll with it today and try to give you a healthy mix. Got him. Just the other day, I posted this survey on the channel's community page, and I asked, would you rather see a range review on a sweet custom AR-10 style rifle? Would you rather see a range review on the Alaskan rifle? Would you rather see me ranting about a $29 sack of jerky? Or do you want to see some more unicorn husbandry? Now, for those of you that are not aware of what unicorn husbandry is, it's a code word that we use on this platform to keep our videos from getting flung down the memory hole. So those videos are pretty cool, but for whatever reason they get suppressed. Nobody sees them, so unless you go looking for it, it's not going to pop up in the feed. Everybody keeps telling me that. So the unicorn husbandry videos usually feature something tactical. I realize I'm not tactical myself, but I do like to play with my toys. But getting back to the poll, most of you wanted to see the jerky rant, so that's what we're going to talk about. All right, so we've been on a diet here lately that's actually Tony's fault. It's very low carb, it's very high protein, and it really kind of puts a damper on swinging through Whataburger and getting a burger when you're out running errands. So my boy and I were out the other day, and we stopped at the gas station to get something to drink, and I could tell he was hungry, so I go over to look at the jerky, and lo and behold, a little bitty sack of jerky on the shelf over there was $29. So I just decided that kid could starve. I wasn't spending that kind of money on him. But anyway, yep, there it is, $29 sack of jerky. Ridiculousness, and it's only going to get worse, folks. I was out at the range today with a buddy of mine, a guy named Jeff. We were shooting that rifle, a unicorn, and one of his rifles, and it went really well. However, it was so hot out there today. Got home, watched the new Matt Walsh special on the Daily Wire, the What is a Woman, which I'm not going to spoil that for you at all. In order to see it, you do have to subscribe to the Daily Wire. I put my money where my mouth is. I subscribed to the Daily Wire so I could watch that. You could sign up for just 1 month, watch it, cancel your membership before the end of the month, and there wouldn't be any more charges, but that would cost you about 15 bucks. That being said, for the amount of work and effort that man put into that production, I've spent more money on less. I almost spent twice that on a sack of jerky the other day. Okay, but getting back to the weather and complaining about it. Everyone complains about the weather, but only Cobra tried to do something about it. I thought that one was pretty good. This one's funny. If you're offended, I've got some thicker skin downstairs. I like that one. All right. Society of MTV would have just kept playing music. True stuff. MTV turned 40 here a while back, and I saw a thing thanking them for their 13 years of music. So, no joke. There hadn't been any music on that station in a long time. Not since they killed the radio star. Alright, speaking of pop culture, wanting your life to be like an 80s movie, but you didn't specify. That is one of my favorites, folks. I've got that one. I own it. Getting back to the high dollar jerky, I'm also in an abusive relationship with a fuel pump. Yeah, I kind of didn't want to drive my diesel pickup to the range today, but on the same note, I wanted to drive it, but I just regret burning like $20 worth of diesel to get there. All right, this one here hits home. I like this one. It's an old quote, Thomas Paine. I prefer peace, but if trouble must come, let it come in my time so that my children can live in peace. Yeah. That's a good one. Speaking of kids, not a cell phone in sight, just kids living in the moment. That's pretty dark. And some of you might not get that. Some of you kids are not going to get that. That's an old reference. All right. Speaking of old, all right, POV. I don't know what that means. You're robbing some boomer with a knife when he just starts giggling, says, "Hey you," and a beep goes off. I don't wish that on Jerry Michalik, but I'm sure he could handle it if it happened. Okay, moving on to world events. The New World Odor. Speaking of the New World Odor, I see they have selected their new firearm. Old reference photo again there, kids, but the gun guys will get a kick out of that. Back when I was a kid, this is what Uber Eats looked like in the 1990s. I remember that well. I really liked those root beer popsicles. Another big truck that I saw just a couple of days ago. This one right here. This was a dump truck, Cleveland, Texas, going down the road. I was stuck behind him and I saw the sticker, so I took a picture. It says, "Please don't tell my folks I'm a trucker. They think I'm a piano player in a whorehouse." The irony of that is there's a lot of folks I don't want knowing what I do either. Alright, speaking of what you do, so what do you do? Well, I'm a supervillain. What's your name? Autocorrector. Ha ha ha, are you serious? What's your super powder? Wait a minute. What the hell is Happy Ninja to me? Please, make it ducking stop. Tech tip. It's never ducking. Moment of tension here. If the bishop moves forward, the queen can capture him. Cabal! Someone pointed out that Wolverine is simply two Batmans kissing, and now I can't unsee it. I'll leave that one up there for a second so you can see it. Speaking of see it, I think we covered this one. Many won't see it, but again, folks, the news and what they tell you: lies, propaganda, spin, fluff, narrative, not truth. Every once in a while, you do see something true in social media, however. I saw this just a couple of days ago, thought it was kind of funny. I'm not going to say it, but, you know, it's funny. Not funny. I don't even really know what happened in that trial, but... Okay, speaking of inflation. Mounted my solar panels the other day. I needed to get some goop to put in the holes so that the roof wouldn't leak in the barn. So when I was looking for goop at Home Depot, holy cow, look at the price of that. $21.98 a tube. Tosh.0 posted this a couple of years ago. Still funny, still relevant. Walmart is investing in America's jobs there with the self-checkout. Here we go. Mainstream media reporting on 1,184 people shot in Chicago in the first 5 months of 2022. Now, let's take the guns away from everybody in the heartland, because that's going to fix, yeah, to me, my hammer. You can't touch this. Another old reference, kids. I think it's funny, but you know, I grew up on that stuff. Archie Bunker. Geez, would you look at that? A man who accidentally left 300,000 guns for the Taliban to use is lecturing me on gun control. Just remember, when it comes to gun control, folks, if you give up an inch, they'll take a mile every time without fail. They don't want you armed because they can't control you if they're afraid of you. Little viewer feedback. I got this one the other day from a guy. I'm going to try not to butcher it. Tovarishich Z. I almost bought the GX4 today, but it was too small for my big hands and too much recoil. Ended up with a Heritage single 6 in 22 WMR and 16-inch barrel for daily carry. I responded back to him and said, I recommend that you carry that hog leg appendix inside the waistband. It should help your dating life. We had a distribution plan for crack pipes, but not for formula. Well, Hunter doesn't smoke formula, so. Wow, the fortune cookies here really are more accurate. The same people who want to disarm you will praise Ukraine for giving machine guns to civilians. 1986, Reagan ruined that for us. Just because most of you like him doesn't mean he was pro-gun. Alright, I finally broke down and joined Christian Mingle. My username is Come Get Psalm. Banned from Christian Mingle today. The only time we hold a shooter responsible is when it's a cop. But Facebook says there's missing context to that, so there's that. Yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47, Beto O'Rourke, in a dress. I guess it is the season for all that. Yes, it's plugged in. Now what? This one's going to take a second. I'm going to go ahead and read it verbatim. Undoubtedly, though, inflation aggravated every evil, ruined every chance of national revival or individual success, and eventually produced precisely the conditions in which extremists of right and left could raise the mob against the state, set class against class, race against race, family against family, husband against wife, trade against trade, town against country. It determined national resolution when simple want or need might have bolstered it. Partly because of its unfairly discriminatory nature, it brought out the worst in everybody: industrialist and worker, farmer and peasant, banker and shopkeeper, politician and civil servant, housewife, soldier, merchant, tradesman, miner, moneylender, pensioner, doctor, trade union leader, student tourist, especially the tourist. It caused fear and insecurity among those who had already known too much of both. It fostered xenophobia. It promoted contempt for government and subversion of law and order. It corrupted even where corruption had been unknown, and too often where it should have been impossible. It was the worst possible prelude, although detached from it by several years, to the Great Depression and thus to what followed. That's an excerpt from a book called When Money Dies by Adam Ferguson. He was a British politician back 50 years ago. I think he might still be alive, but if he were, he'd be a really old man. But the events that he wrote about there was the collapse of the Weimar Republic in Germany between World War I and World War II. And it bears really frighteningly, when you get into the meat and potatoes of that book, the stuff that we see going on in this country and in other places around the world right now. Now, I'm not one to tell other people to read books. I realize we're all busy. However, if you're a guy like me and you have a 2-hour commute every day, there are services like Amazon Audible that provide a means for educating yourself, learning stuff, gaining knowledge while you're driving down the road. I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I have been listening to this one. It was worth the investment. I challenge you to read that book. I need to wrap this up. I've been going too long. Let's end this on a funnier note. Okay, I like this one. I only date conspiracy theorists. Good stuff. I knew I had seen Beto O'Rourke before. More good stuff. Every workplace has this crew. Does 99% of the work, has no idea what's going on the whole time, says he's going to help but he's not, disappear at the very beginning and doesn't show up again until the very end. Yep, sounds like my workplace. All right. I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I've got some more stuff for you, but it's just too much to fit in one episode. So until next time, take care. God bless.